Despite a rough start to the 2023 season in Bahrain, Mercedes has managed to gain speed and competitiveness since. The squad may have been beaten on the desert track, but they've made strides and are anxious to perfect the W14. After hearing positive feedback from Wolff and the rest of the team, the drivers are optimistic that the W14 will show its real potential in the upcoming races, with Russell as well providing some insight into the team's early performance gains in 2023. Let's take a look at whether Mercedes can come back into the fold and compete for wins this season. It's common knowledge at this point that W14 is trickier to drive than its predecessor, as proved by its poor showing in the season's opening race. Following the setback in Bahrain, Mercedes released a statement promising major updates to the vehicle, and according to reports, Hamilton has vented his anger at the squad for disregarding his advice. Despite the difficulties of the W14, Mercedes reassigned James Allison and other important team members and made changes to the car's setup. The team's efforts paid off with the second-place finish in Australia. Had it not been for Russell's reliability troubles, they very well could have achieved a double podium. These advancements are encouraging, as even Mercedes now feels they're on the right track to challenge Red Bull for race wins and then maybe even the championship. While Toto Wolff has been very careful in what he will tell the public, there's been a noticeable shift in the mood inside Mercedes. Russell's early comments on the RB19's dominance this season set the tone for the team's newfound optimism, and Hamilton believes the team can catch up to Red Bull, but he also recognizes that doing so will be challenging. So we can see that Mercedes' commitment to moving forward is at a very high level. It's one thing to want to change course, it's another to have the resources and support in place to do so. Mercedes has everything it needs, including 17% more time in the wind tunnel than Red Bull due to the latter's restrictions from 2021. The squad has yet to see the benefits of the W14's redesign, which will be shown in Imola, and is curious to see how it affects Hamilton and Russell's title hopes. Mercedes has shown substantial improvement in comparison to the start of the season, and this is even before the launch of the new W14 design. Russell is pleased with the team's performance in the last two races and is looking forward to seeing how the upcoming set of enhancements affects their performance. The young British driver commented on the situation, saying, "We're probably finding more gains in the past 2 or 3 weeks than we found over the whole winter by clearly developing in the wrong window. So it's definitely heading in the right direction. We're working really hard at the moment with these changes. I won't give too much away, but we need to make sure they work as expected." What do they owe these problems to, though? Well, the recent difficulties that Mercedes has been having can be traced back to the team's experiences with the W13, which had a powerful rear end and, as a result, made the problems of porpoising and bottoming out significantly worse. According to Hamilton's comments made after the race in Saudi Arabia, Mercedes built a front end of the car that has a large amount of strength in an effort to address these issues. Because of this, a car with an overly powerful front end can have a pointed feel, which can make it difficult to maneuver tight curves at low speeds while maintaining the correct alignment. Wolff has conceded that there is a problem and has highlighted that despite the fact that the team has built two very different vehicles in the 2 seasons prior to this, both of them were extreme versions. Mercedes has gained a better grasp of the spectrum in which they are required to operate as a result of this. Because of this, the team intends to make modifications to the W14 that, if successful, might result in considerable improvements to the vehicle's performance. Wolff has also stated that the new layout is on the way and that it will result in a very different looking car. The upcoming changes will be visible throughout the entire vehicle, in contrast to the W13's enhancements, which were exclusively centered on the innovative no-pod side-pod design. As Wolff put it, "I think that the car is going to look very different in 5, 6 or 7 races based on the decisions that we have taken and the development direction that we've embarked on. The moment we decide, which we've done, which direction to go, where we want to have the car, we're just getting on with it and pushing hard with that one design philosophy." Wolff noted that the team's management bears responsibility for this scenario, as they supported the rules implementation, and the cost cap is a limitation that might potentially constrain the W14's development and performance. Therefore, the team is required to now work within the constraints that have been set. Mercedes is also focusing heavily on increasing their straight-line speed, an area that Red Bull and Ferrari excelled at in the last season and at the beginning of this season. In Australia, Mercedes was only 2.6 km/h behind Red Bull in terms of top speed. The AMR23 from Aston Martin was only 0.2 km faster than Mercedes. Indeed, Mercedes is no different from any other Formula One team when it comes to the importance of reliability. If the team wants to improve their chances of winning the title, they need to address the fact that their W14 engine has displayed some signs of weakness in the early races of the season, and this is without a doubt a very important thing to address. The engineers and mechanics of the team will need to collaborate in order to discover the optimal balance between maximizing the amount of power that can be extracted from the engine and guaranteeing that it will be able to endure the rigors of an intense racing season. They will have to do this in order to produce an engine that is both powerful and dependable. Mercedes appears to be taking it slow and easy with the W14 car and engine upgrades in 2022, despite being more reliable than Ferrari and Red Bull last year. While they would want to see gains in both straight-line speed and overall performance, they're also cognizant of the dangers of overworking the engine. Wolff discussed the team's efforts in improving the car's aerodynamics, saying, "There's been some great work done in the aerodynamics over the last few weeks, in trying to hit performance where we believe realistically we can. So all of that is coming together, and it's just a matter of having a good weekend and extracting the performance that is in the car with the understanding we have." In light of the budget restrictions and the uncertainty surrounding the performance of their engines, it would appear that Mercedes has a significant amount of ground to make up if they were to catch up to Red Bull and make a run for the championship. Considering the planned upgrades as well as the prior achievements of the team, it is not completely impossible for them to turn things around. It will be interesting to observe how they compete in the upcoming races, especially at Imola, where significant improvements are anticipated to be implemented. While it's true that Red Bull has gotten off to a strong start in the 2023 season with Verstappen's 3 race victories, anything can happen in F1. A race or championship may be decided by factors such as an injury, a breakdown, or a mistake in strategy. And with the correct upgrades to the W14, Mercedes has shown in the past that they can be a powerful and competitive team, and they may even be able to challenge Red Bull later in the season. Also, we shouldn't discount the possibility of a solid showing from any of the many excellent drivers in the field, even though Red Bull may appear unstoppable at the moment. For Mercedes and their fans, this is a thrilling period as the team attempts to catch up to Red Bull and compete for the title, with the W14 currently undergoing modifications and adjustments that could significantly boost its performance in upcoming races. It will be interesting to see how the team navigates the challenges they face, such as the limitations of the cost cap and the reliability concerns around their engine, but with a strong driver lineup and the talented team behind them, there's no doubt that Mercedes will give it their all to fight for the championship. What do you think? Can Mercedes make a comeback and fight for the title even this season? Let us know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below, and see you next time.